Hi everyone and welcome to your daily oracle guidance. The challenge, the sun. Now this card usually is a very positive, very favorable, very light-hearted, very fun and outgoing energy because it can represent the very best of our self-expression, where all of us have like an inner sun, and that inner sun radiates and shines its light onto everyone in our sphere, in our lives. And usually the rays of the sun are warm, they carry a lot of information, and whenever that information reaches anything or anyone, it bestows a little bit of our souls, a little bit of our essence to everyone who is recipient of our light. This spiritual and even psychological act of just shining your inner light and letting it radiate onto everyone in your life is a very uplifting, it is a very comforting, soothing, healing spiritual process because basically you're embodying your divinity. But of course, since this is in challenge position, this also represents the shadow expression of the sun, where maybe you don't have a very healthy relationship with your inner sun, and that represents where you don't have a very crystal clear perception of your ego. Now, this has to do with the past, because I do believe you were a person with very powerful creative energy, like that inner sun, but it took you a lot of years in your life to finally have the courage to express yourself, to show yourself, to use all your talents and skills to give a shape and form to that inner creativity of yours, where some people just in the recent past might have tapped into their artistic talents, other people have started writing, other people have simply started sharing their thoughts, opinions, visions, and perspectives with other people, while others still discovered that they're very supportive people, that they have a very special talent where their words, their communication, their gestures, and whatever they suggest have a very positive effect on other people, where they uplift the mood, they deliver a very powerful sense of optimism, hope, cheerfulness. But it doesn't really matter which way or shape or form you have discovered to use the true expression of your creative energies, because you have been this type of person all your life. It is just now, maybe a couple of years ago, when you actually started doing this, when you started to believe in yourself, when you started to embody your talent and just find the appropriate methodology, the method, the way of expression to use your creative energies. Some people are still working on the methodology because they have tapped into the creativity, but they still haven't found the most appropriate way of doing it. They haven't still found what resonates with them 100%, but of course that doesn't mean that they're not doing their very best. It doesn't mean that they're not working with what they have in the present moment, and this is very uplifting, this is very empowering and healing. Because of course this didn't take away your problems, it didn't change your life 180 degrees, but what it did is it made you feel more alive, more relevant, more important than ever before. So this ultimately increased your personal power, it increased your personal influence, it increased your trust within yourself, because when you have so much confirmation from every single source in your sphere that you are good, that you are worthy, that you are really talented at what you do, well then you have to be very silly not to believe anyone, especially when there is no hidden reason for other people to give you these compliments, these confirmation, these feedback. One way or another, this was actually a new beginning for you. This was part of a totally new phase in your life when you are not abandoning yourself, and when you're not living in that constant state of stagnation and procrastination, where you know that you have so much inside of you, but you never actually express this. This is where you know that you have so much inside of you, but you're already expressing it, and each day you're doing more and more and more, and each day you're getting better, better, and better. But still, we have to look and analyze the shadow expression of the sun, which is the ego. Because one of the side effects of you embodying your creativity, you having the courage to go and express yourself, the side effect of this is that your ego is getting stronger and stronger. But this isn't anything negative. It is only your perception, your misconception, that you're turning into a rather selfish person, because all of a sudden you're trying to stand up for yourself. You have boundaries, you have limits, you have learned to say no, you have learned to demand respect, because that is what you offer everyone, but that is what you always offered everyone. Just as this is the new phase of your life where you actually demand the same. You demand everything that you offer to others to receive back in your life from them. You're demanding equity and equality because you're embodying your true dignity. This is actually a very healthy sense of self-worth, just that there are times when you are mistaking it for being selfish, being self-centered. Go even as far as to think that there are sometimes when you have narcissistic moments, but all of this is just a massive illusion, because you lived in a totally different way. You lived with very low self-esteem for so many years, so your mind sometimes always has this tendency to repeat the old pattern, just that your healed and healthy sense of self-worth is no longer allowing it. But because there is so many false and fake information on the internet, especially regarding spiritual subjects or psychological subjects, people claim that having a healthy self-esteem and having boundaries and limits is selfish. Or sometimes you question if you're selfish or not, if you're actually acting from a place of a healthy ego or an overpowered ego. But it is exactly these doubts and these thoughts that reflect back at you that a self-centered and egoistic person will never ever have these doubts, ever, because they will always stand from a place where they will find excuses and motives and reasons for their selfish behavior all the time, so they don't even ask themselves these questions. They just give themselves the justification instantly. So the message of the Sun card, especially in challenge position, is do not be shy. Don't try and judge yourself. Don't try to limit yourself. Yes, of course there are moments in life when we're a bit assertive, when we are a bit harsh, when we don't like to interact with other people, when we need our me times, when we need to be with ourselves, when we do not like to share our times and our energy with anyone. But that is not selfish, that is self-repair mode. Everything on this earthly plane needs time for self-repair, for regeneration, or at least a break. So you're not doing anything special, you're just following the course of nature. This is how everything works in this physical reality, and it would be even ridiculous for you to be an exception. So whenever you need time for yourself, whenever your inner sun cannot shine, it is absolutely normal, it is absolutely okay. That doesn't make you anything, especially not selfish, because chances are, most of the time you sacrifice your you time, you sacrifice everything in order to get connected to other people and shine your light on them. But there is that one moment when you have to take a break, and don't even feel guilty, don't even allow the philosophies, the principles, and the dogmatic points of view of other people to darken your inner truth. This is how we get to the opportunity, which is the justice card. Now, this represents the skills of justice. The heart is counterweighed with a feather, and in the worst possible case, the heart has to be heavier than the feather, because when it is heavier than the feather, it's not the gods who punish us, but it is our inner guilt that's going to be triggered, and basically the inner guilt, the shame, or whatever inner imbalance is going to trigger, that is the demon which is eating us up from the inside, devouring us. So this means that you have to make a choice, because the justice ultimately is also about choice. It is not like anything external. For example, a divine judge judges you and sentences you. No, this is where your own soul is always going to be the judge, and the universe and outer reality and the divine is going to execute your own sentence. And that is why you can never ever ever expect an outer judgment, because the divine is always going to view you as you view yourself. Now, karma is a totally different story, because every action has a reaction, so even good intent can produce a lot of bad karma. But this isn't about karma, this is about the relationship between you and the divine. So whatever you decide internally, however you judge yourself, may it be your soul, your human self, your consciousness, whatever, now that is always going to be the judgment of the divine for you as well. So all of this is very much in your hand. Yes, karma may be the motor for all of this, but it doesn't matter if you have oceans of good karma at your disposal, if you can never see yourself worthy to, use that good karma for whatever you desire to use it. May it be build something for yourself, may it be sharing it with others, may it be living a life of peace and serenity, because once you are perfectly aligned with yourself and with your own judgment, nothing external can ever take away your inner peace, your inner happiness. And this is exactly what's happening in your life in the present moment, where outer reality and other people are sending you feedback, a lot of confirmation, and this is where you asked for it. Maybe you didn't ask it expressly, maybe you never said these words, but inside of you, I think your soul, your spirit, asked the divine to confirm to you if your creativity is actually the right path for you, or if it isn't. And of course, the divine is sending you very valuable feedback, telling you that in the lives of other people, whatever you do, however you express your creativity, it is working, it is useful, it is very well received. You are actually a radiant sun, shining light, warmth, and clarity onto everyone. So this can be your path if you choose it, because it's working, it is useful, it is absolutely aligned with the divine purpose, so it is totally up to you. But in order for you to continue on this path, well, there has to come a moment when you make that big judgment and simply sentence yourself to success, where appreciation, where the gratitude and gentleness and good intents of other people are an active part of your life, totally opposite how things used to be in the past. But this is your new normality, this is your new reality, so you have no choice but to accept all the appreciation, the gratitude, the positive feedback with open arms, and just integrate them into your soul, because that is what feeds your heart, that is what makes it become much lighter than a feather. Because when you're doing something so valuable that you are a positive, influential force in the life of others, and other people express it, well, that is not selfish. Accepting the gratitude, accepting the love and the energy is absolutely not selfish, because it is the fruit of your labor. Not accepting it is exactly the bad thing to do, because then you sentence yourself, you condemn yourself to being a sacrifice, to being an amateur who, doesn't matter how infinitely talented, learned, skilled, experienced they are, they can never outside the amateurism, because they judge themselves, they force themselves, judge themselves and sentence themselves to just stay in the position of the amateur who doesn't take itself that very much seriously. So in other words, a very healthy, aligned, powerful ego is absolutely necessary. And here we are not talking about the shadow self. We're not talking about a wounded, fearful, instinctual ego, but we're just talking about the light of your consciousness. How do we know that your ego is just the light of your consciousness and not the byproduct of your pain and suffering? Well, you released all of your detachments. You released all your tendencies to compare yourself to other people. You don't envy anyone. You wish the well-being of every single person in your life, no matter of their role. Well, that is already an indication that it is simply your light, the light of your consciousness. It is simply you embodying your soul and nothing more, nothing less. Because an unhealthy ego is very, very attached, obsessed by its identity, but it takes itself, it sees itself as a brand, as a hallmark, as a signature, where you don't even care about any of this. If anything else, you would love nothing more than to not be popular. You don't even have a very clear image. You don't care if people see you for who you really are. You don't even expect people to know you. You don't even expect people to respect a basic image of yourself. You are absolutely fine and happy with however people see you and perceive you as. You don't really care about an identity because you know that you're divine, and every person is going to see you the way your creativity or your self-expression is inspiring them as. So it is really, really beautiful because every person sees you in a very, very unique way. You are like a living, breathing, walking story, where that story is different for each and every person in your life, and that is absolutely wonderful because it's like having 10 million identities all in one, and that opens 10 million new opportunities and different specific connections in your life, both on a soul level or every single level. Whereas if you hang on to a specific identity and you demand everyone to respect your preferences, your opinions and all of that, now that would be rather selfish, that would be self-important. But since you are the opposite of all of this, you shouldn't even care about being selfish, because obviously you're not. But this is where you need to make the decision that you are definitely gonna support yourself. You're gonna support your inner sun, your creative energies, and continue walking on this road that you have started on, that you have embarked on, where you support yourself, where you express your creativity, where you shine your light as in every way and shape that you can and feel guided. And as you can see in the present moment, reality, the divine, karma, call it whatever you want, is supporting you. It is helping you. It is reacting to you. So if you have any doubts and questions if you're on the right path or not, well, this should be your answer. And that's why you have to judge yourself and condemn yourself to success because you deserve it. And this is exactly where the resolution, the Six of Air, is leading us, because you have asked for divine judgment at one point in your journey. That is exactly what you got and what you're getting even in the present moment, where the divine is telling you, why even ask the opinion of a singular entity, of one single mind, because when there's only one, even the divine can be somewhat subjective, because the divine is full of love and it wants to love you, so it will definitely judge you in a very loving, which is rather subjective way, because human society and interhuman relationships are illusions to the divine. They're not that very real. So instead, the divine has given you all the opportunities to make a very clear judgment yourself, and you're doing it, and it's very, very positive, empowering, and uplifting. So that is exactly why you're going to be so very, very grateful, appreciative, both to yourself, to the choices that you're making in the present moment, and for making this decision to express your creativity, because that is the life that you always wanted and desired to experience, and that is part of your soul path. And all you need in your life is that big, true soul level appreciation, which you're definitely going to be experiencing when things come together for you in an even greater expression, when you will be able to perceive and see the big picture for the first time, and it's coming very soon in the next 6 months of your life. So yes, it is kind of uncertain how your future is going to look like, but what is very certain, that is filled with so much gratitude and appreciation, your own appreciation and gratitude. So either way, it doesn't really matter if we don't know how it looks like specifically, because we know that you're gonna love it. Well, thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed and safe day, everyone. Bye for now.